Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be among you this morning as we celebrate the 2025 Igbo Day Celebration as organized by Igbo Development Association of BC, British Columbia, Canada. I thank the organizing committee for this invitation, and in a special way, the president, Ambassador Paul Ndukwe, who reached out to me a couple of weeks ago that he heard about my being one of the recipients of the Top 25 Canadian Immigrants Award. And as the only person from Igbo land who is receiving or received this award this year and having lived in Vancouver, he thought it is nice to be invited to be part of this year's celebration. And so thank you so much for this beautiful and wonderful invitation. During a conversation, he has asked me to prepare a presentation around faith, culture, and identity. And this is something I think is very important to talk about, not only for us in Igbo, but for every African, every immigrant that is building a family here in Canada. And I will start by apologies. I'm sorry that I'm not able to be physically present for the celebration. I truly wanted to be there with you in body. But today, the Umibo in Brandon, where I currently reside, is celebrating the New Yam Festival and Cultural Day, and I'm the chair of that event. And so I wish I have gift of bilocation so that I can be both in Vancouver and Brandon celebrating this beautiful cultural heritage. Nevertheless, I have recorded my presentation, which you will listen to shortly. And so since this is an Igbo celebration, I wanted to have everything said in Igbo for the presentation, but I learned that there is a mixed audience. And what I've tried doing is to mix both Igbo and English so that every heart can connect with the topic. Once more, I thank all of you for being part of this celebration today. I thank the organizing committee, and I hope that this celebration will continue to build us together to help us never forget where we're coming from and enjoy one another. And I hope you enjoy listening to the presentation. Thank you so much. Ndewana.
Igbo kwenu, Igbo rienu, Igbo ṅụọnụ, Igbo kwezono. My dear brothers and sisters, our Igbo family, students, and friends of BC Igbo community here in Canada, I greet you warmly in the name of our shared heritage and in the name of the God who sustains us wherever we find ourselves. Today, I have been invited to reflect on something very close to my heart: faith, culture, and identity, sustaining Igbo values in diaspora. This is not just a lecture, it is a call, a reminder, a journey of the heart. Ndị be anyị si na-agbacha ọsọ agụọ mile. No matter how far we go, no matter how fast life moves here in Canada and elsewhere, at the end of the day, we must ask, what have I achieved? What did I carry with me? What did I leave behind? There are some people I have spoken with in the past, and they expressed that they may never return to Nigeria again. Some of our children may marry outside our culture. This is not wrong. Love is a gift. But if we forget the root, if we forget the language, if we forget the faith that sustained our fathers and mothers, then the tree dries up and the lineage is forgotten. O nwere ndị be anyị na-amara asụ Igbo. Ije ọfafa sị na o nwere ife eji Igbo eme. But I want to say something. I want us to understand that language is not just words. It is the soul of a people. When you say Ndewo, for instance, you are not just greeting, you are affirming belonging. This is why I was instrumental to the initiation of an online Igbo class for Umu Igbo in Brandon. And so every Friday, people log in to learn. And today, there are some volunteers from the community carrying on what started as a small seed. That is how culture is preserved, not by speeches, but by action. My dear students, yes, you who are in university, who speak English every day, who feel maybe Igbo is too hard and not useful, remember this. If you lose your language, you lose half of your identity. When you speak Igbo, you carry your ancestors on your tongue. I beg you in the name of everything that is good to learn our Igbo language and speak it with pride. Sometimes when our people come here, they want to belong and be more Oyibo than Oyibos. They distance themselves from our Igbo communities, sometimes with valid reasons like unhealthy competitions among us, gossips, and subtle lack of respect for the elders. However, some end up with identity crisis and become also abro anuenu nke o ji abụ anụ ana, neither fully here nor fully there. Some of our young people, especially those born here, sometimes ask whether they are Canadians or Nigerians or even both or neither. I tell you, you are both. You are the child of where you were born, but you are also the child of where your ancestors rest. Never be ashamed of either. Carry both with dignity. But above all, my brothers and sisters, let us talk about faith. When some people come here, they forget the God they prayed to morning, afternoon, and night to get the Canadian visa. When some come here in the quest for money, they forget God and think they don't need Him any longer. If you lose faith in God, everything else collapses. In the Bible, we learn that the chosen people of Israel, when they abandoned God, they were defeated in wars, taken into exile, lost, broken, and scattered. But the moment they remembered God, when they turned back to Him in prayer, they were restored. In this land, Canada, challenges will come. Confusions, loneliness, questions of direction, issues of papers. But prayer is the anchor. Without prayer, you drift. With prayer, you stand. As St. Paul tells us, pray without ceasing. Prayer is not just for Sundays. It is your oxygen as a student, as a worker, as a parent. So what must we do as Igbo people in diaspora, especially here in Canada? Number one, speaking our language. Let's learn to speak our language, not only at home, but wherever we meet our fellow Igbo brothers and sisters. Even if it's just greetings, even if it's just proverbs, start small. Number two, tell our stories. For the parents especially, share folk tales, our histories, the wisdom of our elders. Don't let YouTube alone raise your children. Number three, hold on to faith. Pray together as families. Attend mass, church services, and programs. Join Igbo cultural groups. Let your children see that faith and culture are not enemies. They are friends. Number four, create and participate in community events. This is why initiatives like Aloysius Anyichie matter. It is a platform for students of African descent here in Canada. It gives our students a place to belong, to connect, to be mentored. Nobody thrives alone. And so it's an invitation for all Igbos in diaspora to identify with such initiatives, with Igbo communities, and be part of those events. My dear students, I was in your shoes many years ago, and this message is especially for you. The world will tell you, forget your language, forget your faith, forget your people. But I tell you, you can succeed in your studies. You can shine in your career and still remain proudly Igbo. When you walk into a Canadian university classroom, walk in with confidence. When you graduate, let people say, this young man, this young woman is deeply rooted and yet fully global. This is the strength of being Igbo. My brothers and sisters, let us not forget, na-agbacha ọsọ agụ mile. When all the running is done, degrees are achieved, houses built, families raised, what would they say of us? That we forgot our tongue, language, culture, heritage, and abandoned our God? Or will they say, here is a people who carry their faith, culture, and identity across oceans, who planted them in a new land, and whose children we never forget. May our children rise strong. May our faith keep us anchored. And may our language, our culture, our God sustain us forever and ever. Amen. God bless you all. Ndewo.